Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dig into a book that was written way back in 1985, but honestly, it feels like it could have been written this morning. It's Neil Postman's Amusing Ourselves to Death, and it might just hold the key to understanding why our modern world feels so, well, chaotic.
So let's just start with a feeling. A feeling I'm pretty sure we all recognize. It's that constant noise, right? The sheer exhaustion of it all. That nagging sense that our public conversation isn't just a little heated anymore. It feels completely and utterly broken.
I mean, just think about it. We are absolutely bombarded. It's an endless, non-stop stream of content. Every single notification, every headline, every post, they're all screaming for our attention. And it's gotten to the point where it's just impossible to keep up.
And you'd think all this information would make us more informed, but it doesn't, does it? Instead, it just leads to this burnout, this sense of passivity. Some people are even calling it reality fatigue. We get so overwhelmed that we just, check out.
And in an environment like that, what gets through? Well, it's outrage. It's raw emotion. That stuff gets prioritized over actual substance, mostly because it's the easiest way to cut through all that noise. So the big question is, how did we get here? Why is everything like this? Well, the answer might just be hiding in a warning that somebody gave us almost 40 years ago.
All right, so to really get to the heart of his diagnosis, Postman kicks things off by comparing two super famous but very, very different visions of the future.
You know, for decades, we were all terrified of the future George Orwell painted in his book 1984, right? We were on the lookout for a world of totalitarian control, constant state surveillance, and obvious censorship. We were all watching out for Big Brother.
But here is Postman's really chilling argument. What if we were looking for the wrong prophecy entirely? He argued that we completely missed the boat on a much more subtle and maybe even more dangerous future, the one Aldous Huxley predicted in Brave New World.
And this is where the core difference just becomes crystal clear. Orwell's nightmare, that was all about external control, inflicting pain, using fear, actively hiding the truth. But Huxley's vision was all about internal control, inflicting pleasure, using distraction, and just drowning the truth in a giant ocean of totally irrelevant stuff.
And this quote from Postman just nails it. This is the whole ballgame. He believed our downfall wouldn't come from some evil dictator's boots stamping on our faces. Nope. It would come from us, happily, willingly, being entertained right into submission. Okay, so how on earth does entertainment lead to submission? It sounds a little crazy, right? Well, to get it, you have to understand Postman's central idea. The technology we use doesn't just send messages. It fundamentally shapes how we think in the first place. Postman's argument was that every single medium, whether it's a printed book or a TV screen, has its own built-in bias. It's kind of like a filter. It encourages certain types of thoughts and conversations, and it pushes others to the side. And while it's doing that, it's quietly, sneakily redefining what we even consider to be truth or knowledge itself. Just look at the clock. It's a perfect example. Before the mechanical clock, time was this natural flow, right? Sunrise, sunset. But the clock didn't just measure time, it created a totally new concept of it. It chopped it up into these precise little manageable bits. And that one simple invention, it paved the way for our entire modern scheduled industrial world. The medium, the clock, literally changed our reality.
So, okay, how does this actually play out in the real world with, ideas in politics? Well, before television came along, public life in America was shaped almost entirely by the big medium of the day, the printed word.
And get this, back in 1858, you had Abraham Lincoln and Stephen Douglas debating for hours. Not 10-minute sound bites. One guy would talk for 3 hours, and then the other guy would rebut for another 3 hours. Postman called this the age of exposition, and audiences didn't just put up with it, they expected it. They had the attention span because the medium of print had literally trained their brains to follow long, complex, logical arguments. But then, everything changed. A whole bunch of new technologies popped up. The telegraph, the photograph, and the big one, television. And they didn't just change things, they completely shattered that print-based way of thinking. They kicked off a totally new and different era.
Postman zeroes in on this one simple little phrase from TV news. Now this. He says that phrase is the key to understanding this whole new world. Think about it. It's a signal that whatever you just saw, no matter how tragic or important, has zero connection to what's coming next.
It teaches our brain that nothing is really that serious, because something new and different is always just a now this away.
See, television's main goal isn't really to inform you, it's to entertain you, to grab your attention and hold it at all costs. And this creates a new dangerous kind of information Postman called disinformation. Now, he's not talking about fake news or lies. He means irrelevant, fragmented bits of info that give you the illusion of knowing something, but actually stop you from ever getting a real deep understanding.
So under the reign of television, Postman argued everything, every serious part of our culture had to get repackaged as entertainment just to survive. Politics? Suddenly it's all about a candidate's look and their clever soundbites. News? A highlight reel of exciting stories. Even religion and education have to be fun and flashy to compete.
Okay, now here is where it gets really wild. Remember, Postman wrote all of this way back in 1985, before the internet was in every home, before smartphones, before social media, and yet his critique of television, it applies with even more and frankly more terrifying force to the world we live in right now.
That peekaboo world he warned about, where random facts just pop into view and then vanish, that is literally the basic design of our digital lives. The endless scroll, doom scrolling, the algorithmic feed, it's all there. The irrelevance and incoherence he was so worried about have been put on steroids by the algorithm.
And maybe the biggest casualty of all this is what you could call reflection time. You know, those quiet moments you need to actually think something through. Our constant connectivity has almost completely wiped those out. It's just harder than ever to escape the nonstop entertaining noise.
So, wow. Faced with all that, you might be thinking, is it just hopeless? Are we doomed? Well, thankfully, Postman doesn't just leave us hanging in despair. He actually offers us a way to fight back.
He doesn't say we should throw away our phones and computers. Not at all. He calls on us to become what he calls loving resistance fighters. It's a great term. It just means being super aware of what our tech is doing to us, understanding its biases, and consciously, intentionally resisting its worst effects. It's about making sure we're in charge of the tech, not the other way around.
And really, that's the final and most important question he leaves us with. It's a challenge for you, for me, for all of us, to look at the screens that pretty much define our world today and ask a really simple but really hard question. Who is truly in control here?